Italy warning concerning the active volcanoes there. We know we have the biggest supervolcano of Europe at Campi Flegrei, flanking Naples to the west, but we also have Mount Vesuvius there. That whole area is full of activity. We know that we had a huge 6.6 magnitude earthquake in Cyprus yesterday, and that was a few hours after the 5.6 in central Greece. And the whole of the Mediterranean basically is very active. It's been active for over a year with big earthquakes, anything from 6 plus to 5 plus. And anything, of course, La Palma, the Canary Islands, of course, recently erupting. And something is going on here. But there's a lot of underwater volcanoes in the region too. They say that for every island that we have in the Mediterranean, there's also 10 underwater volcanoes. We know in the Calabrian area of Italy, it's a magma area full of magma volcanic arcs, and also the Hellenic Arc, volcanic arc. It's inflating. So the geologists are warning us that an underwater volcano could trigger a 100-foot tidal wave, or 30 meters. Italy is at risk of an enormous tsunami from an unstable underwater volcano, as 100-foot waves could crash into the coastline. Europe's largest volcano lies about 109 miles south of Naples. It's a height of around 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters, a length of 43 miles or 70 kilometers, width of 19 miles, 30 kilometers, and it dwarfs Mount Etna. It's invisible to the eye because, of course, it's deep underwater. It's the Marsili submerged volcano, named after Luigi Ferdinando Marsili. He's the Italian geologist who discovered it nearly only 100 years ago. And it lies about 1,200 feet under the water, 450 meters under the water surface. Its volcanic activity is believed to have started less than 200,000 years ago. It's listed as one of the most dangerous submarine volcanoes of the Tyrrhenian Sea, alongside Magnaghi, Vilo, and Palinuro. Volcanologists are fearful of the relatively fragile walled structure made up of low-density, unstable rocks, and it's fed by a shallow magma chamber underneath it. In 2010, Italian geologists announced that it could erupt at any time with the potential catastrophic effects. Recent models suggest the eruption and associated landslides could trigger, of course, an enormous tsunami about 30 meters high or 100 feet high, potentially smashing into the Calabrian and coasts of Sicily. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. So here we have the boot kicking that little ball. The triangular ball is Sicily. Naples is just about 12 o'clock over that red circle. Naples is just about halfway through that boot. So you can see that whole area is full of magma. Now, some of these have formed islands, but not all of them. A lot of them are submerged. According to BBC, for every one island visible to us, there are 10 more volcanoes lurking under the surface. Subterranean volcanoes. Submerged volcanoes, in other words. Since Marsili's formation around 1 million years ago, geologists believe that to have amassed some 80 eruption cones alongside openings that could also spout lava. And according to a 2013 report in Gondwana Research, Marsili's last eruption occurred a few thousand years ago. Guido Ventura, volcanologist at the Italian National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, said that lava and ash produced from any future eruption would likely be absorbed by the water above, and it's unlikely to reach land nor harm locals. But there is something else that's dangerous. The danger is not the eruption, but the possible underwater landslides. Seismic movements beforehand or the eruption itself could trigger a collapse of the weakened rock, displacing this enormous volume of the landslide, displacing water in the process. And worse still, there would be hardly any warning of this imminent tsunami. During an interview in 2010, Enzo Basci, who is a very well-known volcanologist, told Corriere della Sera, one of the Italian very well-known newspapers, that it could even happen tomorrow. Researchers concluded that Marsilli underwater volcano is not structurally solid, and he said it could begin erupting at any time. He said, while the indications that have been collected are precise, it is impossible to make predictions. The risk is real, but hard to evaluate. The poet Petrarch recalled a devastating sea storm back in 1343 that killed many people. A recent State University of New York study suggests that it may have been caused by a tsunami of this kind. When looking at another Italian volcano, the Stromboli volcano, archaeologists' evidence has offered insight into an ancient landslide that created and reached the Calabrian coast. Just 20 years ago, eruptions at Stromboli caused 2 tsunamis, though these did not reach the Italian mainland, only the island itself. And Glauco Calotti, physicist at University of Bologna, said that the idea that it is difficult to predict just how much of threat Marsilli poses. In a paper published just last year, his team considered 5 different scenarios. The first couple of cases saw minimal displacement of water with a wave just a few centimeters, but the worst case scenario, though, involved the southern, central, summit, and eastern flank collapsing, and Gelotti's team calculations estimate a 20-meter high or a 60-foot wave would reach Sicily and Calabria in only 20 minutes. He said the south of Italy is vastly populated in the summer. Other volcanoes in the area also pose a threat, like Palinuro off the coast of Cilento. Both Mr. Galotti and Ventura have called for improved tsunami warning systems, especially if it could help save, of course, thousands of lives. And this is by Charlie Pittock on Express UK. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.